looking down those sides here. However, they have to remember that the Spanish are very fast, and already there is a runner there. A close takedown. It started raining. This is not going to do the Spanish or Australians any favours at all. And a big slam there into the list. However, he did hold on. And the Spanish fighter is down already. Charges into the Spaniard who has gotten onto the list. Some great movement here from the Australians. However, the Spanish are fighting back. Big blows there coming to the back of the Australian's head.
Australian giant Chris Fogwell getting beaten from every angle, but doing some massive polearm hits there. Throwing down the Spaniard off screen.
The Australians, the Spanish are trying to use the space very well, trying to evade these attacks by running across this, not hold on to it. It does make for a great spectacle.
And a Spaniard down at the top of your screen, you can see there. And the Australians have one, outnumbering the Spaniards.
Well, that's it. Some nice work there from the Spaniards, possible.
A few shots off to the south side of the
well, that's a big blow there from the Australian, but he takes the run, goes straight into the list, and the Australian is down. The Spanish, there are two Australians down. The Spanish will have to capitalise on this advantage that they have. They are keeping moving. Unfortunately, can't quite grab the Australian there, but he's not in a good position. If he gets up on the list, he might be able to hold on for some more important time. But big problems for the Australians now. And that's taken down, and that means a victory for Spain.
It's very unfortunate, but this does leave them with the 1-to-1 fight. The next.
You can see the last third and final round of Australia-Spain has got underway. Very physical fight, lots of speed, lots of movement. This is what we like to see in Battle of the Nations.
Got to keep an eye on that Spaniard. The runner's for obviously free.
Yeah, but he's very quick. And again, goes smashing into the big Australian there. Another Spaniard coming in. The numbers might just help him here. However, he got support from the further Australian fighter. Coming to the list now. Big shots coming there from the Australians against the Spanish. But there's two Australians down in one corner. Spain now with an advantage. Hooking round the great smash there from the Australian, but he's hooked around Australian fighter. I don't know how much more of that he can take. He's really taken some punishment, but holding on, so resilient.
We see in the bottom left corner of the Spaniard versus Australian, both looking very tired.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure if they're obviously able to pull something out either side of them, waiting for something to change.
Fatigue is kicking in there, and it's understandable at this point. This is where it gets very tiring, even holding on to this, as we said yesterday.
That Australian fighter really needs to disengage, head over to his teammate and really try to take one of them out unawares. If he stays there for too long, he himself is getting tired. That single Australian against the two Spaniards is at a disadvantage and really can't be there for too long.
Yeah, the worry is that he's going to get his legs swept. I think that's going to be the way to take him down. However, he got some big movement here from the son, a thrust forward. However, he needs to make sure he doesn't get hip tossed.
And doing his best, obviously, stay engaged. But now he's become the one-on-two fighter.
That's right.
The other fighter needing to take the opportunity to take him down.
Break away there, but it's all coming to one skirmish here, 3 versus 2. The Australians locked in against the list.
Holding on as hard as they can. Their teammates on the ground watching on in desperation to hopefully see some change of events.
I think they just need to break away from this. You can see one Australian going down there, and he's holding on. He's been held up by his teammate there as well.
Australians not a fan of the rain, but obviously doing their best. Marshals making sure that they're not holding on to anything.
That's right.
See, all these marshals doing their absolute best.
There was
definitely a hold there, it seems.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
No, not enough action, so they're calling it split so they can reset.
I think they might need to reset some armor there. I think he's having a word with that Spaniard. He may be called down. There did appear to be a pull there, so you got some conferring between the marshals.
See, obviously, I missed at one point.
I think we've gone down to 2 versus 2. It's now 2 against 1 favour for the Australians. They now have the advantage.
They needed to take their time, reposition themselves.
Well, I think that Spaniard was taken down forward, trying to bring away armour, or maybe a breakage of his own, maybe something had come loose. However, as they're taking it into the middle of this, they need to use their teamwork here because a hip toss, if it comes about, and that's amazing. Every Spaniard, it's Australia! Who have brought it through. Amazing shove there.
In fact, look, the worst thing there being that Spaniard dropping his guard, maybe thinking that there was only one Australian left and he had won.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Getting pushed down from behind makes it very complicated.
It is one of those things where you need to keep situationally aware no matter something missing.
Just maybe an armour adjustment of one of the fighters, but I don't even believe he's part of this fight.
Seeing a very consistent trend, obviously, using some of the vendors here to get...
And the fight gets underway, an early charge from the right there from Australia. The Czechs taking their time, very cautiously approaching these Australians, having seen how fast they can move in the middle of the list. An early charge there from Australian, but as a counter charge comes straight back from the Czech Republic. Now, and there's one Australian fighter already down. We're getting a counter charge coming from the Australians. However, they've got it all to do now.
Fortunately, a lot of them getting tucked up on the side of the field. Great repositioning here, I think, from Andy.
Big charge there, and I think the Czech fighter could have capitalised on that and gone for a leg sweep. However, he has not done it. The Australians now holding on to the list.
It is a 4-5 fight here.
Big shots there coming through from the Australians. Trying to loosen up that Czech fighter. He needs to get off that list.
Needs to get his helmet free from that helmet.
Big leg shots. I think this Australian is now in big trouble here. It's going to be very, very difficult.
However,
there's the big Australian trying to help out his teammate. Amazing teamwork there from the Australians.
But at the same time, a few very heavy shots to the Australian's head.
You can see on the other side there is a 1 versus 1, which has just been split apart, and now there's some movement. Now this one's been taken down by the Czech Republic. And it's now a big advantage of 4 against 2.
This is not boding well for the Australians, but obviously the beast...
well, you can see that big fighter there. He is not going down immediately. It's been taken down already.
Unfortunately, that was, I think, a fumble in his footing. Czech fighter is now taken down an Australian, and once you're down, you must let go of your
and I think that Czech fighter in the middle, I'm sure that he had his torso connected to the grounded Australian fighter, but he's still allowed to go thundering into his to that other skirmish there.
Even with my love of the...
the big Australian goes charging in there. Again, it smashes that arch there.
Oh, no, I think the list is the thing actually
the list was it, right? Of course, you can see that whole chunk's been taken out of it.
Fantastically holding on there, but no real change in the situation. The Australians sort of just being stuck, not able to...
but you can see that big Australian is holding on to 2 Czech fighters there.
There's no change with the other fighters, but he was being followed by a Czech Republic fighter.
Oh, that's right. He was right not to stand around and wait for the moment too carefully, otherwise he would have been chased down and pushed over.
Now a 3-1 bout, unfortunately.
So and that is it. The Czech Republic walk away with the victory there.
Fantastic display from the Australians, but it's one of those things that once you get backed up on the wall, staying there, someone like Chris Fogel with his size can happily hook up a...
well, I think they've got every chance to. I mean, if you're going to roll on anyone, a nice rush there coming from the Australians going straight into the side. Big blows there coming in. Some nice work from them, and they might get one of the Russians down. There's some big teamwork around. One of the Russians has gone down. That's one of the Australians. Some big fighting coming here from the Australians. This is seriously good work right now. However, the Russians are now taking control of it, and it's been called.
So close. They had the advantage there to begin with, definitely taking it to the Russians.
Oh, they found the loose Russian. They took it right to him. He found himself exposed, and he was taken down. Great work there from the Aussies. However,
team cohesion is so hard as well in these outfits, not being able to speak as well to one another.
Okay, now we get underway in round 2. Can the Australians now capitalise on that good start, or the Russians have changed their tactics? That big Australian goes straight into the Russian there.
And be careful, Russians
want to take it down. However, they've gone straight into a wall there, and there's a lot of charges there from the Russians.
2 Australians already down.
However, you do have a loose runner here. He doesn't have the size advantage there against this Russian that's already been called.
See, this is the Russians' tactic. Take them down faster than necessary. A bit of...
They go away with a victory there, and a well-deserved one. Very, very sharp movement we've got from them. And the Canadians, despite the big stature, could not quite withstand it. However, we do get to the engagement of the Australians versus the Germans. The first blows coming from the German team. The Australians looking a little bit tentative at the start there. Big reach coming from these tall Germans. Some chase downs there, but there is one German down on the ground already, and it appears that they've both gone down. It's the big Australian, and that's a close takedown there. Holds on to it. Very impressive from the Australian there. A run comes through. That's a very impressive takedown there from the Australians. Looking to that, and he brings down one of the Australians.
Now a 1 versus 1 with Australia against Germany. That German fighter being
a bit that's a big man, and this is going to be, he's looking around to see if there are any teammates, but there are no more Australians standing.
He's all alone. But
so he's going to have to rely on his energy here. You can see that the German is relying on his weight to bring down that Australian. That's all he's got going for him at the moment. If the Australian can break free, he is in a very bad position.
He does need to disengage, try to find another way to fight him. I believe this might be Jake from the Australian team, but if he does not...
Well, I think he's going to try and break loose there. However, I'm not sure if he's seen that the German is also holding on. If they can break free there, he's going to be in a good position.
Now he's sword arm free, he might want to try to get a few strikes in there too.
Oh, definitely. Well, you can see that his sword arm is not free. It's actually locked in there against the under the German shield.
Hopefully, if he drags it out, he might be able to get some shots in there. Choosing to reposition, push against the German's head, which can create a weak spot underneath the arm. Some fantastic energy there by the Australian.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult, and some great knees coming there, trying to wear down the legs of that German. It's going to get very, very tiring at this point. The Australian does need to break free. However, he is held down by that shield.
Well, he is taking his time, I think. I don't think he's bursting as much as he could do.
Well, neither is the German. The German's trying to conserve energy as well there. However, now we've got a push coming from the Australian, who's bringing it back. Some great knees coming in there. Great opportunity there to go for a sweep if he can get round to the other leg of the German where all the weight is balanced.
Knee's not doing as much as he's probably hoping that they're doing. Maybe if he uses his left knee towards the gut, but unfortunately that may leave his hooked arm around the list a bit too weak.
Well, this is where it really starts getting tiring
for these. We see a buckle getting loose there from the spolder of the Australian. Hopefully that doesn't lead to an armor break.
Okay, it's been broken up. Okay, yeah, because there was a lull in the action now. Let's see what this Australian can do. He doesn't want to be wedged in the corner there against this big German.
But at the same time, taking his opportunity.
Oh, and that's a big move there from the Australian. He's always going to take it. Oh, it's Australia!
Fantastic job by the Australian.
Oh, that was an incredible technique. He must be exhausted now, both of them.
There's an advantage to every set. The Australians now set up against Germany.
Now, next round from Australia with an early charge there. But they need to be very careful with these charges because these Germans are pretty big. They've got great balance
one German already down.
One German already down. I'm not sure if he actually tripped there. You can see a small piece of arm, but I think it's only a rondel which came off. Now take it down to the list. You've got this big Australian here.
Battling in the center, at least engaging him, distracting him and keeping him focused on this fight. A nice two-handed swing just off screen.
Big charges there from the Germans, and it's ended up in a double takedown there. However, now Australia with an advantage.
Seems that the big two-hander they're hacking.
And the big man comes down on the German.
The numbers called in the favor of Australia. Fantastic work by them.
Great victory there.
That two-handed strike, the one who's checking on the German